Hello everyone, Jason from Truth Behind the Magic here, back once again. I'm very excited about this video with the Christmas season upon us. It already is the Christmas season. I thought this would be a great topic for discussion, and I'm calling this video Christmas on the College Program. And not just in terms of things that you should go do, but really a big factor of this being what to expect on the program. How much are you going to be working? What will your free time be like? What perks do you get? That kind of thing. Not simply like things around property that I think you should go see, which that will be the second half of this video. But really, as a cast member, as a college programmer, I want you to get the value of kind of knowing what to expect. But just to dive into it, and also to kind of preface, I'm going to be including Thanksgiving as well as New Year's time in this discussion, even though it's mainly focused on Christmas, but those are really essentially a part of the Christmas season. I've always, well, at least in recent times, considered everything from November 1st to January 1st, and really maybe even considering including New Year's Day is a part of it, but anything during that time frame I pretty much consider the Christmas season, especially when you consider Disney has the Magic Kingdom Christmas parties starting pretty much immediately right after Halloween anyway, so in Disney terms it is the Christmas season right after Halloween. And I will just say right off the bat, some people may be wondering this, so I will answer this right off. Completely expect to be working on Christmas Day and New Year's Eve. Sorry to rain on your parade, to ruin your party plans, anything like that. It's just that there is, unfortunately, pretty much no way around it unless you somehow miraculously have a Christmas miracle and find someone to either take your shift or trade for another day. Because the full-timers and part-timers, of course, they come first at all times, their considerations, but especially on the holiday days, you are definitely the bottom of the barrel in terms of shift times. But honestly, it's not a terrible thing. And I will say that Thanksgiving and New Year's Day don't have quite as high of a chance that you'll be working as like Christmas and New Year's Eve, but it's still extremely likely that you will be, just not quite as high as those days. And I will say things do tend to get quite busy around the holidays at Disney. I mean, I guess that's pretty obvious. Like a lot of November won't be that busy. I actually remember Thanksgiving week was not that bad when I was working. New Year's Eve was insane, even at the resort, even at Riverside where I was working at the time. And I remember Christmas Day not being all that bad either. Like, it was still busy, but it was not nearly what I expected. And I've worked every major holiday at Disney over my time on the college program. And I actually think 4th of July was the busiest time that I've experienced, busier than New Year's Eve or anything else, surprisingly. But there are kind of caveats to a lot of what I've been saying for the past minute or two, because a lot of this can depend heavily on where you work, specifically pertaining to parks versus resorts. Because when I worked over the Christmas season, like I said, I was working at, I think at the very beginning of it, I was working at French Quarter, but then I finally got moved back to Riverside for like the last couple months of my program. So many of the holidays, people tend to be inside the parks rather than the resorts. So that's where there's kind of a dichotomy, because even though, like I said, Thanksgiving wasn't very busy, it was probably insane in the parks. Same with Christmas. If it's not that busy at the resorts, it's going to be because everyone's in the parks. But like I said, New Year's Eve, there was still overflow from the parks, I guess, and it was absolutely packed at the Riverside food court. And outside it as well, because that's where they were doing like the celebration at the resort. But yeah, if you're working at a park, you can pretty much expect holidays to be insane. When I was working attractions, I don't. I think I may have been there for Easter, but I was there for spring break as well, the big spring break weeks, and those might as well be considered holidays at Disney, because it will get absolutely insane during that time as well in the parks. Um, and something else to keep in mind in terms of parks versus resorts is that if you work in the parks, especially Magic Kingdom, your shift times may change a bit during actually starting Halloween all the way up through Christmas, because if you're at a position at a location that has to work the parties or some other Christmas related event at another park, you may experience shifts where you have to work later. My old roommate Blaze, he worked at the Liberty Tree Market and Sleepy Hollow, and he did have to work the Christmas parties. I believe they served hot cocoa and maybe some other things there during the parties. But him specifically, I remember sometimes he wouldn't get back until 2 or 3 a.m. during those times, which was not typical for him. So that's something to keep in mind, is that your schedule may change during the holiday season, starting all the way potentially back in August if you're working the Halloween shifts. But despite the level of busyness, I still firmly believe that December specifically is probably the funnest time to be in the program. And you can probably lump November in with this as well, but not all of the decorations might be up for part of that time. And that kind of segues into the second half of the video here, which is things that I think you should do on the program during this time. Number 1, utilize your cast member holiday discounts. They do exist. They still exist as far as I know. Usually they are 40% off all merchandise. Occasionally they may even do a 50%. In some restaurants, that list has been getting shorter and shorter over the years, it feels like. Because even back in 2019, Boma was on there, and I don't think it is anymore. I don't think it was when I was there in 2023. Only a few quick service locations are on that. But there are quite a few table service at the resorts, especially. So that's the time to go enjoy those. Even just last program, even though it was over the summer, they had a few that were on the 40% discount during the summer. And me and my roommates went to Boat Riots over there at Riverside, which I used to share a kitchen with when I was in quick service. But that was really good, and 40% off, it was not that bad. That's really when you can enjoy the really good quality stuff there and not feel like you're paying a ton for it. And also your cast member coupons, if they're still doing this, you'll get a little envelope of coupons. You get free snacks like the pretzels and churros, Mickey ice cream bars, things like that, as well as some coupons that give you up to 50% off dining and things like that, which are separate from the regular discount. Not to say that you can stack them, but just obviously if you use a 50% off, you're going to be getting a little bit more of a discount than the regular 40. But then you'll have used that coupon, so you can't use it again, obviously. And also, a very big thing that I would say is visit the resorts to go see their decorations. Grand Floridian is incredible. The tree and the gingerbread display that they do, I actually don't think they're doing it this year because they're doing construction in there, but I could be wrong about that. Wilderness Lodge is probably my favorite during Christmas. The tree is just so impressive. I mean, that lobby is already impressive and imposing, but with that tree in it, it's on another level. They also have a gingerbread display. I believe it's a gingerbread log cabin. But really anywhere will have decorations. Just, go do the monorail loop. The Contemporary really isn't that great, but go do the monorail loop. Do the Epcot loop. Go see the resorts around Disney Springs, or at least take the boat to the Port Orleans resorts, get some beignets. And speaking of Disney Springs, definitely partake in the Christmas tree stroll, as they call it, which is essentially like a scavenger hunt where you go and see the trees they have spread out around Disney Springs. Very cool. And just a big thing, go and enjoy the Christmas ambiance at the parks. I mean, just sit on a bench for a while or just walk around, take pictures. Magic Kingdom, of course, has great decorations. They have the Christmas shop that's always open there in Liberty Square. They have the Jingle Cruise overlay for the Jungle Cruise. And then, of course, if you want to pay the dough, dish out the dough. They have the Christmas party, the official party there at Magic Kingdom. Epcot is incredible. I mean, Epcot's always incredible, but the Festival of Holidays is so cool. I love that they've expanded the satellite festivals to include more food. So even outside of food and wine, you get a lot of food booths now. You get to learn about Christmas culture from other countries. And if you want to dish out the dough, you can go to the Candlelight Processional, which is a live show where they usually have a famous person from entertainment doing the spiel for it. And Hollywood Studios, I always think that Hollywood Studios has the best ambiance of any Disney park to begin with, potentially any park in general, but great decorations around the park, even though they don't do the Osborne family lights anymore, which I unfortunately never got to see, but they just have great decorations, especially going around Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard. It's just, it really feels like you're in a Christmas movie, like an old Hollywood Christmas movie. They have the projection show on the Tower of Terror, which is really cool. I've never really stood there and watched the whole thing, but I mean, you'll see it going on, and that's interesting when that happens. And that's probably my favorite park for Christmas time. I mean, it's really hard to say whether it would be Epcot or Hollywood Studios for me, or even Magic Kingdom, but I just love the ambiance there. In Animal Kingdom, not to like throw it under the bus, but maybe not quite as notable as the offerings from the other parks, but it still has great decorations, and they are starting to do some projections on the Tree of Life, so there's that as well. But I think just overall, if you take a lesson from this video, even though you might feel taxed from the pace of work, you might be stressed because it just feels like it's slammed all the time for the month of December, especially the latter half. Just take time to enjoy a special time at Disney World, because, I mean, it really is, despite certain trends that Disney may be taking in recent years, it still is a special time. And it's something that you may never get to experience again in your life, at least not as a cast member. And, you know, I can specifically remember the last shift that I worked in quick service was New Year's Eve, and I'll never forget sitting there outside the Port Orleans cast services, which looks straight towards Epcot, and over the trees you could see the lasers and the lights and things being beamed up from Epcot, and people were singing so loudly. It's funny, it's like it's gonna date the time that I was there, but I remember Old Town Road. The people were singing so loudly I could hear them singing Old Town Road from like a mile and a half away or whatever that is. But yeah, that'll things like that will ingrain into your memory, and those will be the key memories for the future. But yeah, just have a good time and enjoy it while it lasts, and I will see you next time.